Welcome to the next episode of Borrowed Destiny's audiobook. Enjoy.
Borrowed Destiny: The Weight and Burden of Soul Sacrifice by Dennis Mukira and Bridget Namubiru. Narrated by Aaron Sin. Prologue: Seeds of Struggle. Good morning, little bird. Kera stands over her son as slivers of early light drift through the cracks in the walls of their small two-bedroom mud hut. It's time to awaken. Gole peers through one barely opened eye at her, wanting just a few more moments of the rare reprieve brought by sleep. Even so, he sits up in his catado, thin and hard beneath him. It is barely better than the ground, but it is one of the few comforts that he has. He stretches his weary bones, knowing that time will wait for no one, and another hard day lays ahead of him in the impoverished district of Dombo. Always a good one, Mother, Gole replies in his usual way, offering her a slight smile that is often difficult for him to find. Emotions are not something that Gole freely expresses, as life has drilled a determined stoicism into his soul. You must be hungry, Kera points out, holding out half of a gem root that she'd cooked over the fire outside. Here. Gole's stomach pangs with a hunger that never quite disappears. It is a constant gnawing reminder of their place on the lowest rungs of society. Yet he shakes his head and pushes the offering away. You need it more than I do, he insists, hoping that his mother will not notice the lie. I should get moving. We need water. Soon, the sun would bake the narrow, dusty streets, and they would scorch the feet of anyone risking the journey to the southern rivers. Kera's lips are cracked from the heat and dehydration, and so are Gole's. Another day without water could spell their doom. Gole lifts himself out of bed until he towers over his mother. As he grew up, he truly became the opposite of a little bird. Weathered skin and wiry, lean muscle from years of hard labor, calloused, roughened hands, and deep-set dark eyes betraying both his determination and his exhaustion. The only possible connection to birds would be his thick mop of unruly hair, resembling an unkempt nest in the branches of a tree. In contrast, his mother seems small and almost fleeting. Her once dark hair has become flushed with streaks of gray, and her body is weary from the burdens she holds. Even so, there is no mistaking the kindness in her tired eyes, or the grace with which she carries herself. Don't be too long. I'll have something ready for you when you return. Kera pats her son on the shoulder, a sign of unsung gratitude. There is barely any food left in the house, but Kera has always provided, and she has vowed that she always will. When Gole was a young child, it was somewhat easier. Now that he is grown, Kera often feels as if she is holding him back from a family of his own. Perhaps he would soon have a wife and a baby if it weren't for her. But Gole consistently insists that he would never wish to leave her behind, and would never consider a life other than the one he has. Kera isn't sure how much of that she can believe. Once Gole's feet leave the cool clay-paved floor of their home behind, he can sense that the day's heat is already coming. The sun has not yet made its presence fully known, but once it climbs above the horizon, it will beat down with all of its might. Be safe, he calls over his shoulder to Kera, who doesn't answer, but the implicit promise has long ago been made. Gole walks along the dirt roads, weaving between mud huts nearly identical to theirs. Other people mill about outside in clothes as thin and raggedy as Gole and Kera's. Their bodies just as thin and ashen, and their stomachs just as empty. It is simply another day in the wretched streets of Dombo, and nothing has changed. The scent and sensation of poverty linger pervasively in the air, a perpetual reminder of the distance between their world and that of the people in Katui County to the east. As Gole walks, nobody comes forward to greet him or to ask about his mother's health. It is something that he is used to. There are no friendly neighbors or fun get-togethers here. The only people still able to laugh and dance as if the future has any brightness are the children, playing with rocks and sticks and pretending that they are battling dragons. Those who have grown more have their own beasts to fight, and they are no longer imaginary. Some still hope for change, and there are those who have made it out of these streets. But for the vast majority, anything other than what life has always been is an impossible dream to reach for. The river is a fair distance away, at least a half-hour's walk, but Gole finds it a peaceful, momentary break from the chaos of survival in this place. Once he returns home, the day will begin in earnest, and they will work until the sun disappears once again. By the time Gole reaches the river, his tousled hair is already thick with sweat, which slowly drips wet lines across his forehead. He lowers his bucket, noticing a new hole in its wood, already patched in various places with dark mud. "I'll have to fix that tonight," he thinks as he leans down on the riverbank. The currents are calm today, flowing past in momentary serenity, making Gole wish that he could stay longer. But his mother is waiting, and they must get to the market. After filling his bucket, Gole turns back, glancing at the sun that is now bringing a low glow to the dusty landscape. Its light crosses the walls of the huts as Gole walks past them, turning the homes a deep orange and highlighting the cracks in the windows. Were he able to stay to appreciate it or see beyond circumstance, he would have thought that it was a beautiful sight. People pass him with baskets full of clothes, some chatting, some somber, some followed by giggling children. They are heading down to the river to spend their morning doing laundry together. "Ah, there you are!" Kera is waiting for Gole outside of their home, standing under a makeshift thatch awning that hangs low over their front door. "I was beginning to think you'd found a girl and run off to paradise." It's a joke that Kera makes often, a bittersweet nod to what life could have been. Gole does laugh, an attempt at making the day lighter, but he can't help the hidden cynicism lurking just beyond it. Gole sets aside the water bucket. It should last them a day or two. Then he prepares the cart of corn that he and Kera will spend hours roasting and vending along the roadside. Kera stands in the doorway to watch him, her body already exhausted. Over the last few years, she has grown ever weaker, but she tries not to let Gole see. Recently, it has become impossible to hide her illness, yet neither she nor Gole can do anything to improve it. Gole often finds himself grinding his teeth in frustration that he can't protect his mother from being ravaged by her own body. In the end, he simply must pretend that it is not real, that her tiredness is brought on by long hours of work, rather than a sickness spreading like a pest through her veins. "Ready?" he asks once the cart is loaded, and Kera nods. Though her legs are heavier than her heart, and she often struggles to breathe, she stands strong and elegant beside her son. She watches him as he pulls the cart along behind him, his lean muscles working hard to carry more burdens than one. Kera walks beside him, her shorter legs finding it tough to keep up, but her pride refuses to allow her to ask him to slow down. When he was small, it was easy, but now it feels as if she is always looking at his back. Life still lies ahead for him, but for her, it is as if it has already passed. "I must have told you this many, many times," Kera says as she walks beside Gole on their way to the main road. "But your father would have been so incredibly proud of you." Gole doesn't answer, but he allows the quick squeeze his mother gives his upper arm. His father passed before Gole was even born, and the only memories Gole has of him are the tales that Kera tells at night before they go to sleep. It seems Gole's father was a powerful, humble man who cared deeply for his wife. Gole, however, will never know the truth. Death tends to hide a person's true colors, leaving behind only the best of them. Gole regularly finds himself wondering whether his father too dreamt of a brighter future, where their family would never know the pangs of hunger, nor the bite of the cold on a rainy winter's night, where their clothes would be new, and their hands would be smooth, without the hard calluses born of hours of manual labor every day. Many people in Dombo have that dream, but many have given up on it too. They live from one day to the next, only ever hoping for survival until their time has come to pass on to another life. "They've taken our spot already," Kera points out when they draw close to the main road, the only one in all of Dombo that is properly tarred. Gole notices a vendor selling wheat where he and Kera normally park their cart. it's a good spot since many people pass right through that part of the market on their way out to the fields. We'll leave earlier tomorrow, Gole replies, pulling the cart over to an empty bit of land close to the road. He sets up the cart in such a way that there's space for Kera to sit down, but he does not attempt to hurt her pride by insisting that she do so. The sun now blares down in earnest, baking the world with uncomfortable heat. As people walk past, each vendor yells about their goods and prices, insisting that there's none better in all of Dombo. The road itself is fairly quiet, but customers do trickle in from across the dusty streets of the town. They stand in front of each of the cart of goods. Each purchase is a difficult choice. Most will spend what little they have on small rations of food. Quality is never as much of a consideration as quantity in this world. "Thank you," Gole says to a customer as they walk off with 4 measly cobs of roasted corn before he turns to Kera. "Slow day today." She nods, but her thoughts are elsewhere. She remembers a time so far away now that it seems like an eternity when she stood here by the roadside alone. She was met one day by a young man that she'd seen around town but did not often speak to. "Slow day?" he'd asked that first time, smiling so brightly that she still remembers that look on his face. Kera had nodded, enthralled immediately by that voice, hoarse and yet kind, deep and yet thoughtful. It wasn't very long before he'd asked for her hand, not much longer before she had fallen pregnant with Gole. But now that man is gone, and the memory of his smile is one of only a few that she still clutches in her mind. The days have blurred together now, and she often finds herself forgetting the way his hair lay across his head in the mornings, or the way that he would sit outside with his face to the sun. Kera eventually mutters, pulling herself back to the present to glance at Gole. "But we'll make it. We always make it."
Thank you for watching Borrow Destiny audiobook visuals. Subscribe to Faded Pages Audiobooks channel for new episodes. See you on the next one.